it's Anon. Welcome on my channel. Guys, today I have on the line my two guests, my good friends, who want to talk about mental health care systems in our respective countries and about other mental health care or mental illness related issues. So please welcome Loicmaster and Glenn. Hi guys.
Hello.
Synchromatic. So yeah, maybe we'll start with Loicmaster. Loicmaster, how are you?
Well, I'm fine. It's all good. Studies are good, and I'm just browsing the net, looking for a picture to Photoshop.
Okay, I can give you some, I think, later. You want to practice, right?
Yes, it's kind of a practice for me.
Okay, nice. So Loicmaster, we've been talking before. You are a person who struggles with schizophrenia, just like me, and you are You are from Kaliningrad, Russia. That's right?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember everything correctly then. So maybe you can start about how's the mental health care system in your country?
Well, the mental health care here is like the general health care is kind of not the best one you can get, because we don't have a lot of money in the first terms, and then we are not using that money rationally, so we cannot afford a lot of things.
Yeah.
And because of that, our healthcare is not good at all.
Well, I can say the same about Poland, so I think Russia and Poland aren't that different. We cannot organize money very well and spend them on good things. Like in my country, in my country, in Poland, because I will be talking about Poland too today. Let's say we have this very Catholic, ultra-Catholic government right now, you probably know.
Mm-hmm.
And they are spending on public television 1 billion zloty.
1 billion?
My currency, yes. And there are, like, when it comes to psychiatric care, there are not enough psychiatric doctors, psychiatrists, especially for children. So everyone is running around wildly looking for psychiatrists, and there are just several. There is nothing to pick, to be honest. But there are money for the public Catholic television, so you see, like, it's so fucked up. Yeah, continue, please, how it is in Russia.
So, the next thing is that we still have a stigma left from the Soviet Union that mentally ill people are kind of the Untermensch of the country. That is a high stigma in our country, that if you are mentally ill, you can lose out on a job, on a flat, if you're renting one, they know about it.
What?
And all sorts of things. And people will be looking at you strangely if they know that you are mentally ill. So it's not about all people, it's more of a people that were born before the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, like 40s, in their 40s, 50s, right?
In their 40s or 30s, maybe even.
30s. Well,
yes.
I'm 32, and in my country, communism ended in 89, right? And in my country...
Yes, in our country, 1991.
91, yes. The Soviet Union fell. So we have big stigma around these places in Eastern Europe, in your part of the world. You are in Eastern Europe as well, because you are from Kaliningrad. But Russia...
Well, yeah, it's still considered Eastern Europe.
Yeah, you are European, of course. But Russia is also a bit Asian. So, like 70% Asian, I think.
Well, in territory, yes. In population, no.
What is in population?
In population, it's like 30% Russian.
Okay, and the rest is like what the territory you got with the people you got, like Yakuts. Let's not.
Yeah, because Russians spread out for the entire country.
Yes.
They kind of displaced the natives.
Yes, I know, but yeah, let's talk about more about healthcare systems in Russia. What can you tell us more?
So, the healthcare system is not at all good. It's obvious. But in second thing, it's free. So, it's like at least something.
Yes, it's
But
free.
that free comes from kind of screwing over patients. Like, they can put you in a psychic ward for no reason at all.
Yes, I've seen it happen too.
They just don't like you, and because of that, they're like, okay, go to psychic ward.
It's the same with the people in Middle Ages. Like when you didn't like your neighbor, you say that he cursed your fucking cow, and you were burned at the stake. So it's like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, especially in our city, we don't have a lot of psychotherapists. We have plenty of psychiatrists. We have plenty of therapists, but we don't have any psychotherapists. Like maybe there was one or two for the entire town. So that's a big problem too.
I'm kind of upset that Piola didn't join us today because he's from Argentine. And he told me that the mental health care system in Argentine is one of the best in the world, maybe except Israel, because they have the most psychologists and psychiatrists per capita. And
really?
Yes, they do, he told me. And he told me also that when you are like you have mental issues and you want to go to psychiatrist or psychologist, no one gives a shit. Like, I mean, everyone is like, okay, go. That's cool. You can go. But here, when you go to psychiatrist in Poland, or I think in Russia also, everyone is like, oh, there is something off about him. You
know what? When my parents knew about my sickness, they were denying it, and I didn't go to the therapist for 2 weeks. It just kept getting worse at the debut of the sickness. And so, like, for 2 weeks, I was known to have a psychic issue, but my parents refused me to go to the therapist because they were like, you let it out, it will go back to its hiding place.
What the fuck? That's...
Yeah, I suppose like that. They refused me to go to the psychic ward.
Okay, let's leave it at this point for now. Let's talk with Glenn now. Hey, Glenn.
Hello.
So you listened how fucked up it is in Russia and Poland, right?
Yeah, it's better here, to be honest.
In Belgium, right?
Yeah, in Belgium it's better. It's basically free. We like pay a certain amount, but then we get back like an amount that's really close to it, so it's almost free. And really, it's like, I don't know, I was treated very well for my depression and for my PTSD. I was sent to one of the best psychiatric facilities in the country, and I really met a lot of interesting people there. But yeah, at the same time, there's no therapy at all for autism. And that's kind of like, you know, that's troubling for autists, obviously.
Yes, so Loicmaster has schizophrenia and Glenn has Asperger's syndrome, so like high functioning autism, everyone. So you know now. We've been talking with Glenn in the one of the previous podcasts about Asperger's syndrome. So if you want, check it out, please. And please tell us more about how are your experiences with this.
Well, like I was there for a couple of months, and I never really had to worry about paying the bills or anything like that. It was all taken care of for me. And I could basically just focus on what was wrong with me, you know, which was hard, of course. Like, I hated every second I was there, but at the same time, looking back at it, I think it was one of the best times of my life, basically.
Whoa. I'm glad you had experience like that. We had different experience with Loicmaster, with psychiatric hospitals and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they differ a lot.
Yeah, so I kind of wish it was.
I can't even really like imagine that. I mean, it must be terrible. If like somebody would have told me when I had like the worst of my PTSD and my depression, that like they wouldn't help me, or like I shouldn't go to psychiatry or something. Like I was full on psychosis, you know, I was crazy. So I had to go to psychiatry, you know. It's just silly to suggest otherwise.
But we can find in Poland like good psychiatrists, but they cost a lot because healthcare system in Poland is free for people with insurance, of course. Insurance isn't hard to get. I have insurance like instant because of my disability papers, but you can just go and say that you don't have a job and they will give you insurance. Or you can get a job and get insurance from this job, but when you want a good psychiatrist, you have to pay. And I'm in this good position that my mother's pay for my stuff, like psychiatrist, psychologist, because she kinda contributed to forming me how I am now. I mean, some bad experiences with my mom, but thanks God she doesn't understand English, so she won't hear about this. But yeah, she beat me. She was beating me when I was little.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, well, I don't want to cry about it now because it was so many years ago, and she said that she's sorry, and I don't want to make her like a devil right here, right now. But yeah, she contributed to my mental state, and she pays for my shit. So at least thanks for that.
Yeah, well, at least there's something positive to be had from all that.
Yeah, and she pays for my shit, and thanks to that, I have good psychologists, I have good psychiatrists, I don't have to wait in lines for the...
And you still have a bond with your mother?
Yes, I still do have a bond. I forgave her. She told that she was stupid and she was listening to my grandmother, blah blah blah, you know. Yeah, maybe a bit more about psychiatrists and psychologists, guys. Maybe Glenn now.
About the psychiatrists, we basically don't have to pay much. It's just the same system where we just pay them a certain amount and then we get almost that amount back. But you can also like get insurance here and stuff, but it's basically just if something happens that you're like insured no matter what. But I think everybody sort of is by default or something. It's really like, I don't know exactly how it works, to be honest. But it's, you know, it's I think it's a very good system here. We definitely don't have like the issues that you guys seem to do over there. If there's only one issue, it's that there's not enough space for everyone, and there's long waiting lists sometimes. Like if you have a heavy depression and you have to wait like 5 months to get it in somewhere. I mean, that's 5 months of torture that you're going through, you know.
That's why my mother pays me for my stuff, because I don't want to wait in lines for, you know, psychiatrists or whatever. Yeah, and how long are you going to psychiatrists and psychologists, Glenn?
I've been going to my psychiatrist for about, I think, 1.5 years now. Before that, I went to another psychiatrist who recommended me to the one I have now. And I went to her for like something like 6 months or 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And my experiences have been very, very good with my psychiatrists. They've both been women for some reason. They've both like really given me a lot of freedom. Like I can basically decide what I take, what I don't take. I almost decide it myself. They just sort of suggest the most appropriate thing, you know.
That's good.
And yeah, it just helps to have somebody that listens to you, and it's worth the money, in my opinion.
If you like, let's say you don't have to spend money on that. If you feel like talking, you can talk with me, and same with Loicmaster, alright? Okay. So
yeah, thanks for that.
Sure, no problem. I like listening, and I think I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, that's great. So yeah, anytime you have a problem and you don't have like appointment or psychologist talk with me. Okay, Loicmaster. Loicmaster, how are your experiences with psychiatrists and psychologists?
Well, first, that my sickness debuted, I went to the private clinic, and they had a really good psychiatrist and therapist, and they helped me a lot, but still they couldn't determine the diagnosis. So they suggested me to go to Israel. And in Israel, that was the best experience with psychiatric help that I ever got, except for one thing. They got me off my medicine pretty fast in the process. And so I couldn't adapt to that, and my psychosis again showed up. And so they sent me back home so I can be thrown into the psychic world again. But it was a private one that was goodish. It's still a ward, but it's still like something out of the reach of,
you know, like psychosis is really like one of the worst aspects of mental illness, I think.
Well, yes, it is. My whole sickness is psychosis based.
Yeah, exactly. But like like I had psychosis as well, but I just had major depression and PTSD. But like I can't imagine what it's like to have psychosis as one of your main symptoms or something. You know, it must be terrible.
Well, you learn to live with that. That's the good thing.
Yes, like when you feel like you are becoming psychotic, some people tell you that you behave like you used to when you had psychosis. It's better to go to hospital.
Yes, it is. It really is. Because if you don't, it could get too far, and you'll be behind the point of no return.
Yes.
Yeah, well, the first thing I did when I knew I had a psychosis, like I knew I was having delusional thoughts and everything, like I realized, well, I instantly called the hospital and they came to get me with an ambulance, basically.
Whoa.
Well, for me, I only realized that I had psychosis when I was about to jump off the roof.
Oh yeah, shit.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's the only realization that I got. Like, at the last second, I was standing up at the edge, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? I don't want to kill myself. So why am I standing there? And it just snapped out of it.
Yeah, it's like so strange when you like have that realization that what you're thinking is nonsense, and it's like you were believing it so fiercely before, you know?
Yeah, and it just like snaps you out of it, and you're thinking like, why was it like that?
Yeah, it's very hard to like understand yourself or something.
What?
Yes, but
really?
in Israel,
yeah.
In Israel, my psychotherapist, he was the one human that taught me two kind of things to do when I have psychosis. First is meditation, and the second one is the thing that he called the cinema. That is to get rid of visual hallucination. It's basically when you practice it at home, and you sit down, you close your eyes, and you imagine you're in a cinema. You fill it up like you would like it. But then you sit down in a chair in your imagination, and in your shoulder on the chair is the remote for the cinema. And you pull up on the screen the last time you had a visual hallucination. And with that remote, you're kind of imagining that you are changing the hallucination. Like zooming into it, zooming out, raising the contrast, lowering it, the brightness, the parts of this body, like you're just imagining this. And then you shut down with the remote, like you must like push the button like you would do in real life. You can just rest your hand on the table and you really just push the finger that you would push a button with. And after some practice, like 2 months of it, you can do it in real life.
I will remember that one. Impressive. I will remember that one.
Yes, but he said that it's really hit or miss. Like, it either works for you perfectly or it doesn't work for you at all.
I'm good at things like that because like once I was having a very bad toothache and I was imagining that I'm putting some kind of like medicine on that, like taking care of it, like I was imagining, visualizing that I'm getting rid of the pain and it stopped hurting.
Well,
Yes.
I've actually had
Yes,
something similar, but like I don't have that easily. I can't easily convince myself that I'm not having pain or something like that, you know?
Autosuggestion, it works when you are really believing it. It fucking works.
Yes, and you know what? My sickness helps me believe it because for me it's like, what if what am I seeing is real and what am I seeing usually is not? So it's really a good thing to let you believe in something that is a lie. You can use it for bad things like believing that your hallucinations are real, or you can use it in good ways, that believing that they are not real and you can manipulate them like you're basically their master.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have this memory of my mother, like I had this stomach ache, and my mother, like, was taking it away with her hands, sort of, like making motions like she's taking the pain away, and it actually disappeared. I still have a very, very vivid memory of that.
Well, that's...
Well, you were a child, you were pretty imaginative, so it could have happened.
But it's incredible how the imagination can work, like autosuggestion and stuff like that. Whoa, we are spiraling out of the our first
That's
topic.
the point of the podcast.
Yeah, of course, that's the point of the podcast. But I wanted to ask you stuff now, guys.
Well, ask it.
Well, how would you compare the mental healthcare system in our countries, to the third world? Do you think that we have it so bad? We have it done.
Well, my answer is definite yes. That we have it terrible here.
Yes.
I don't think that like one, like I guess bad thing can sort of like suggest that the other bad thing isn't as bad as it is, or something.
Well, yeah, you're true.
That's true. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you guys think that one day the mental stigma might be broken?
No, not no people.
No.
Like there will be one man or woman or a person that will still believe that mentally ill people are just strange and they must be exterminated. But we can get rid of that on societal level. Like just kind of, I don't know, not censoring, but relieving the tension between those two groups. Just like, not propagating, but saying that, okay, mentally ill people are not dangerous, they're not strange, they are ill.
Yes, and every illness
is... People believe that mental illness is the same as having a stomachache, just more severe, they would treat us they would treat us better.
Well, if you remember our podcast, Fridge, we were talking about how we're like
we can break mental illness stigma.
We can like how should I put it?
Taught it in schools.
We can teach it in schools, and I think that's going to be like what's going to make a big change in it, because if everybody's educated from a young age, then eventually it must sort of die out. Although obviously you'll always have bigots and like outsiders of the rule, but like those few outsiders of the rule don't really matter, I guess.
I kind of agree with you, kind of not, because I think schools are for practical studies, and we do not teach that in schools. We change the culture about it.
I think that we should teach it in schools because like
except like change religion for ethics and teach it on ethics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe like make a subject in school that is basically called ethics, and you
Yes.
throw all of that in there.
Yes.
Yeah, and like it would be part medicine as well, because you would learn about psychosis and you would learn about
Yeah, we can teach that in biology
and
class.
everything. Exactly.
We can teach that in different aspects. Like we can make psychology courses in school, like or classes in school, psychology, just like that.
Yeah, but for young children, so like children get confronted with these things from an early age. I think that's very important.
Yeah, and of course, people that are in their puberties, they are confronting that really often.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's also a very large amount of teen suicides and stuff like that. So I think it would also help that, because if there's more awareness, then people are gonna, pull the alarm bell earlier and stuff like that.
You know what? You know what Russia got the first place for?
What?
They got it for most male suicides per capita.
We are second in Europe about in teenage.
Well, Russia is first in the world.
What the fuck? I thought it's Greenland. Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, it's like general suicides versus male suicides, and they're all per capita.
I'm sorry, mate. I really am.
Yeah, it's just that life for males in Russia is not that good. Well,
it's the same here, and for the females, like some gold diggers have it like easy, right? Easy mode, living on easy mode. Like she go to cosmetic clinic, she looks pretty, she gets a rich boyfriend, and she lives, on this. But life for someone like me who has some fucking values isn't that easy.
Yeah, you have to work for everything you wish to get, and you work 2 times harder than people in some of the situations.
I work like in normal work since I was 17.
Well, I worked since I was 13, and right now I'm looking for a job.
Whoa.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, so you see how it is in Eastern Europe, Glenn.
Yeah, that's...
Yes, 13 years starting a job in the summers.
Yeah.
Well, I basically started my first job when I was like 21 or something, because I was lazy after I quit school.
You can be lazy in Belgium, but you cannot be lazy in Russia or Poland, especially when my father died and I had to, help my mother.
Finish it.
No, I finished. Go on.
Okay. So I am a student right now, second course, and I don't get student payments that are because I'm not in free places in budget ones. And I pay for myself. But my parents support me. But I know a lot of guys that are in free places and they live outside of their hometown here in Kaliningrad, and they get payment for like 2,500 rubles. And that's not at all enough for a living. And they have to get work. They have to work.
Yeah, it's like...
And so, they are skipping lessons to go to their jobs.
Well, I think that if your school system leads to kids going to work early, then I think there's something wrong with your school system, I guess.
Well, it's obviously something wrong with the school system. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But we just don't have the
resources,
the willpower to ask the authorities to change it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, I'm looking for a job, but it's difficult for me because every job right here that is an entry-level job requires a psychiatric check.
Evaluation.
And it's really easy. It's really hard for me to get it done. Because they might deny me the job.
It has been improving here, since I was young, though, because I remember, speaking to a psychologist once in all the time that I went to school, and I used to fight almost every day, and then I used to get into all sorts of trouble, and I only spoke to a psychologist once. So I mean, think about how crazy that is, because I was a kid that really needed help, from the very beginning.
It's real difficult to have a good psychologist in every school because there are so many schools.
and so little
Yeah, well,
psychologists.
I can agree on that, but I only spoke to one in all those years. Like, what the fuck, man?
Whoa.
Well, in our school, we had yearly psychiatric tests, but it was mostly for intelligence. And they were the determining factor to what class you got.
Wow,
Oh.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, kind of eugenics.
Loicmaster, do you think that we should do something about psychiatric help for children? Are you having a problem in Russia with psychiatric hospitals for children, or is it Poland only?
We have only one child's mental ward for the entire Kaliningrad region.
Why?
Not the city, it's
Kaliningrad.
for the entire region.
For the entire oblast. What the fuck? One?
Only one.
We have.
You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because children are not considered psychologically ill before they're 18.
But they are ill. I'm 16, so I was fucking 12, and that's ridiculous. I was actually in psychiatric hospital for kids when I was 12, and this hospital is closing now. That's
you know what?
fucking great. Mm-hmm.
When I was diagnosed in the government clinic,
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't confirm me the diagnosis because I wasn't 18 at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was there with an unspecified diagnosis, and we have a system that based on your diagnosis you get particular medicine for free. So I had, for 1 year, I had to buy my own medicine. It was expensive as shit.
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
We spent like my whole mother's salary for my medicine.
And like, I might be, you know, I might have an opinion about capitalism and all that, but like, if you look at it that way, that's really sick, though. Like, people have to pay to like take things that make them normal.
Like,
Well,
function normally, right?
yeah, I think that's ridiculous. You know, that they have to pay for it.
You know, my.
Well, let's not stray into politics.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, guys, I have a friend who has schizotypal personality disorder, meaning she has paranoia too and all that. And she gets medicine that is used for schizophrenia because it's in the same boat, but she has it without refundation, so she has to pay 100%. So several hundred zloty, while I pay like 60 zloty a month. And that's
well, I don't pay anything for my medicine, and that's one good thing about our psychiatric healthcare.
Mm-hmm. That's.
I don't think that.
That's one good thing. At least thanks for that.
Yeah, because if I would pay for my medicine, it would cost me like 30,000 rubles per ampule that I would need to get every month.
What did you want to say, Glenn?
Well, I basically wanted to say that the medication here costs like, you know, just as much as you'll get back from it. Like, it's the exact same system all over again. And I really think that that's the correct way to go. Like, if there has to be somebody that pays for it, then it should, you know, be returned as much as possible or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
The medication is usually very cheap to make and stuff. It's just the research that costs so much money, and I don't know. Maybe something needs to change about all that. I'm not sure how we could change that.
That was about my next question. How can we change the fact all of this like mental health care to improve it, break mental illness stigma, like teachings in schools, or change the general like point of view, perception of people. How to fuck we do that?
Well, I think the first we need to change the minds, then we change the
system.
The system, yes. First we need to change the minds so more people will bend onto the movement of removing stigma and getting healthcare systems into place.
And Glenn, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's absolutely right. So I think that first we should invade the minds, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, kind of authoritarian speaker saying that invade the minds.
well, if it's for a good cause, let's be a little authoritarian once in a while.
Okay, guys, no politics, please, guys.
No politics, no politics.
It's like I said, it's like Polish Christmas all over again.
Well, at least it's not like Russian Christmas will all be just bubbling unaudible shit.
So guys, let's say that we do this podcast, right? Like I'm a host and you are the guests and we do this podcast. Do you think that it might help?
Well, I think right now, not entirely sure. Because some people might listen to it and then spread the word, but some people might just listen to it for their pastime.
Mm-hmm.
Because to get things moving, we need to spread the word. So
Yes.
we need to connect to this problem more vocal communities, like maybe high subscription YouTubers to speak about it.
Yeah, I was planning to do that actually. I was writing to several big YouTubers. I'm waiting for the responses. I will see what I will get.
That would be amazing, actually.
That would be fucking great, awesome, you know. I think I might do this channel mostly about podcasts. And yeah, to all the people who think that I might manipulate viewers to, I don't know, check my podcast and I will get some money from it. I don't get any fucking profit from it. I do that.
It's like you have to get at least 1,000 subscribers for it
and like they actually think that you're getting money out of it now or some shit like that, and you have like 200 viewers.
Guys, even if I hit 1,000 subscribers on 1 million, I won't monetize these videos because I don't want fucking commercials on my videos. So people will just skip them, you know. I want them to be fully, you know.
No, you should make this as legit as you can.
Get sponsor integrations.
Yeah, or
we can achieve that.
Later on, you could get like Patreon subscribers or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe for the not for money for me, but for like a foundation. Maybe I will create one.
Well, yeah, and to fund like new materials that you need to do your podcasts and stuff, you know.
Maybe that, and maybe I will use the money if I will ever make money out of it. I don't fucking know right now. Right now, I'm not making any money, but in time. Like I said, I won't monetize the videos. If I get money, I will get it other way, only to fund my foundation, if I will ever make one, for the mentally ill association or something like that. Because I might do that one day. I was actually thinking about a project like that, and I've been talking with one association in Poland, in one CEO, and she said that she is very, very happy about my project.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, Loicmaster helped me a bit with that. He translated into Russian my email that I sent to the foundation, and he resent it to Russian foundations.
Well, still no answer to this day, but I don't know what happened. Maybe they just don't care about foreigners getting our money.
I don't want their money. Tell them that. I just want their, like, I want them to be my patron, not like they give me money, but they are like cloaking me. I don't know how to say it otherwise.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're just like no soliciting at all. When they say a good project, they'll come to you by themselves, not like you ask them for it. I don't know how they work.
I will try to advertise this project, and the things that people ask me, what do I get out of this? Like, what do I get? It's like helping people who are listening, who might struggle with mental health issues, right? And they will learn something from our experiences. Like,
really, if we help just one person in some way, then it'll be worth it.
Yes, exactly. And other things that I want you guys to talk with me, because talking helps. Getting these things out of your shoulders, and you know, I don't know how you feel about it. It helps me.
No, it helps me as well.
Well, it helps everyone. It's basically the foundation of psychiatric help.
Very good. That's what I was.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I was going for to. And the other thing that I want you guys to send your message into the world. Like, you can say anything you want regarding mental health issues. You can send your message. You can tell people who are listening what you wanted to say. Spread the word.
Yeah, just kind of acknowledge that if there's a problem, it needs to be solved, and do this in the way you can or want.
Yeah, and if you have any psychological problems or you suspect that you do, then don't be afraid to get help as soon as you can, because the sooner you get to it, the better it'll be. I'm sure of that.
And people in Eastern Europe, because Western Europe is doing okay, I think, but people in Eastern Europe or other like less developed parts of the world, please listen. If you're feeling bad and you want to go to get help, please do that, and don't think that everyone will think that you are weird or that you are fucked up, because why the fuck do you even care about that? Like, people can say whatever they want. You need help and you should get that help, and that's what matters. So that's my
ultimately,
my message.
By getting help, you're helping everybody else as well, because if you are not functioning, then what point is there, you know?
Exactly. So, guys, I think we'll be finishing this podcast because it's been like 45 minutes already.
Yeah.
So, do you want to say anything, address something, some issue, or send a message?
Well, I have nothing to say.
You have nothing to say. Okay, Glenn?
Well, I would just like to thank everybody for listening. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time, I guess.
Yeah, of course, there will be next times, and I hope with more people of my podcast bros. So, thank you, guys.
I want to meet more people with mental illness.
You will, don't worry, in a group I created, and maybe we will create a foundation one day out of it. Who knows?
Well, if we got money, the money is there.
Money. Maybe I will get money. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I will sell my t-shirts or something. I don't fucking know. Okay, Loicmaster, thank you so much. Spasibo.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure, Glenn. Yeah, I don't know how it's thank you in Dutch.
Dankjewel, but it's been my pleasure.
Dankjewel. Okay. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys! If you enjoyed my content, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications for more videos in the future. Thanks, bye! Cześć ludzie! Jeśli podobało wam się wideo, to zalajkujcie, zasubujcie mój kanał i włączcie sobie notyfikacje. To wszystko, dzięki, pa!